Hello guys, welcome to Nitahcrochets. My name is Anita and the hook is my magic wand. So today we have this fringe monokini. I loved working it. I had shared a video about things to keep in mind when working a low waist or high waist bikini, so I thought I should bring out tutorials for each of them, and my next tutorial is going to be for a high waist monokini. Alright, the written pattern for this monokini is going to be on my Etsy, Ravelry and Coffee shop. It's possibly going to have sizes small and medium. What I worked in this video is a size small, okay? So just keep that in mind, and just in case you want adjustments, you can just purchase the written pattern because it will have a size medium as well. I want to thank you so much for sitting down in my long tutorials and watching them. I am super grateful because you all make a very good audience. And for all those that go to my coffee shop, oh my god, and buy me coffees to support my target. If you didn't know my target is to buy new recording equipment because I use my phone for those videos. I am hoping I could maybe buy a camera and more lighting and audio equipment. So to support my goal, kindly head over to my coffee shop and buy me a coffee. I always leave the link in the description box. Honestly, any amount is very vital to me, very useful. It adds to my goal, and I'll be keeping you posted on the progress of what I have gotten for the goal that I want. I want to thank you so much once again. I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you. So let's get started. I have this yarn, it's robin, it's 100% acrylic. This is size 2 yarn, so I'm going to be doubling my strands, and basically for this project I think any DK yarn can work. Most probably cotton can do well with this project. Also, I'm going to be working with a 3.5mm hook. Just in case you hear any noises in the background, yes, it's my baby. If you're new to this channel, you should know that I have right now a 7-month-old baby, and in most cases when I'm voicing these tutorials, I am either carrying her or something like that. So yes, some noises push through, but I try so much to make sure that you guys can hear me. Now to start off, I am going to chain 11, and my intention with the 11 chains is to end up having 10 stitches. So basically the extra chain is just our turning chain to get started on our first row. All right, so you're going to chain 11, and once you have all 11 chains, into the second chain stitch from the hook, we are going to work a single crochet, and then we shall continue working 1 single crochet into every chain stitch until we come to the end of our row. By the end of your row, you should have 10 single crochets. All right, so let me let you run that until the end of the row, then I get back and show you what to do next. And here I am working my very last stitch. So yes, I'll work my last single crochet, and this is how your work should look like. Now to get started on the next row, we are going to chain 2 and turn our work, and now into the very first stitch we are going to work a double crochet. So basically the chain 2 does not act as a stitch, it's just our turning chains. Now we are going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of our row. So basically, even on this row, you must have 10 stitches, okay? So I'm going to let you guys work your 10 stitches, and then once you are done, I'm going to get you there, then show you what to do next. Yes, so here we are at the end of our row. And now to start the next row, you are going to do the very same thing that we have done for this row. So you will chain 2 and turn your work, And now into the very first into the very first stitch, you work a double crochet, and you are going to continue working one double crochet into every stitch until you come to the end of it, like until you come to the end of the row. And you should make sure that even on this row you have a total number of 10 stitches, just like you have been having. Now basically this is more like our crotch area, and it's not going to have any increments or decreases because we just want something straight for a few more rows. All right, so you work your 10 stitches, and once you have come to the end of your row, just like that, this is what you should have. Now I'm going to let you guys repeat exactly what we have done here for the next 2 rows so that we have a total of 4 rows. Okay, so do this for the next 2 rows, and then I'll meet you there, show you what to do. So here I am with my 4 rows complete, no increments whatsoever. For every row I have 10 stitches. Now we are going to start working our first increment. So here we shall chain 2 and turn our work. Into the very first stitch, I'm going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So we have 3 double crochets in the first stitch, and then into the next stitch we work 1 double crochet, and again we do the very same thing for the next stitches until we have 1 stitch left to end our row. So just keep working 1 double crochet into every stitch until you have 1 stitch left to end your row. Then you will do exactly what we have done when starting the row. Okay, so basically for this project, how you start the row is exactly how you should end it. Now into this very last stitch, still I am going to work 3 double crochets just like I started. So basically this is an increment, and if you start your row with an increase, make sure you end it with an increase. So you should have 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. Now you will chain 2 and turn your work. On this next row we are going to start with 2 double crochets in the very first stitch, and then we shall work 1 double crochet into every stitch until we come to the end of until we have 1 stitch left to end our row. Anyway, there is no science for this project. Since we are working with the normal basic stitches, it's not like I'm going to be around to like show you how to work each and every row, but rather I am going to work a few rows for you, then let you work part of the next rows on your own. So once you have come to having 1 stitch left to end your row, just like I have, into that very last stitch right there, we are going to work 2 double crochets in that very same stitch. Now remember, like I told you, if you start the row with an increase of 3 double crochets, make sure you end that row with an increase of 3 double crochets. If you start the row with an increase of 2 double crochets, make sure you end it with an increase of 2 double crochets. Now we are just going to be repeating this kind of series of chaining 2, turning your work, starting your row with 3 double crochets and ending it with 3 double crochets, and then starting the next row with 2 double crochets and ending it with 2 double crochets. So once you have turned your work into this very first stitch, we are going to work 3 double crochets, and then we shall work 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until we have 1 stitch left to end your row. So if you remember, this is what we did for the very first row that we have of the increment. Okay, so yes, work your 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 1 stitch left to end your row, and then I'm going to meet you there and show you how to end your row. And now once you have one stitch left to end your row, you will end your row just like you started it. So into this very last stitch, I am going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Okay, so work your 3 double crochets into that very same stitch just like that. You see how our work is now widening? Now here you're going to chain 2 and do what you did on the previous row prior to this one right there. So here we are going to work 2 double crochets into the very first stitch just like that, and then work 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until you have 1 stitch left to end your row. So make sure you're working 1 double crochet into every stitch until it is 1 stitch left to end your row. Then I'm going to meet you there and show you how to end your row. And this is actually the last row I am working with you for this bit of the project. I'm just going to get back and show you how many rows I have so far worked. Remember, this is more like the Monokini bottom front bit of it. Okay, so work your double crochets, and once you have 1 stitch left to end your row, just like I have, I'm about to approach to that last bit right there. Now into the very last stitch, just like you started your row, in this very last stitch you are just going to do the very same thing there just like you did here. So here we are going to work 2 double crochets into that very last stitch to end your row. Okay, so there is nothing we are going to change about this. That's the sequence in which we are going to be working our rows. Work 3 double crochets to start and end the row, then 2 double crochets to start and end the row. Just keep repeating that for the next rows. I am just going to get back and show you what how many rows I have worked for the width that I am looking for, because it's going to get wider like that. All right, so let me get back, then show you what to do next. So here I am. I feel these rows are just enough for my front bottom, and I have a total of 16 rows. That means I have worked a total of 13 rows for the increase. Okay, so for me personally, including the row of single crochets, I have a total of 16 rows. All right, so that's what you should have if you're working the size that I am working. This is a size small. For sizes medium or large, you would go a little more further with this. You would go maybe a couple of rows before you now start doing what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to start decreasing. So I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. Now I am going to work to skip the very first stitch and then work 2 double crochets together into the next 2 stitches. So basically this would be more like 3 double crochets together. Okay, so we are working a decrease with the first 3 stitches on the row, and then I'm going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch. Okay, I will work 1 double crochet into every stitch until I have 3 stitches left to end my row. Okay, so I'm going to let you work your double crochets all the way across until you have 3 stitches left to end the row. Then I'm going to meet you there and show you how to end your row. Okay, now as you can see, I have worked all my double crochets and I have 3 stitches left to end the row, just like I did start. That's exactly how I'm going to end. Okay, so I'm just making sure there are 3 stitches. Now I'm going to yarn over, and into those last 3 stitches I'm going to work 3 double crochets together. So that's how you end your row. Like I said, how you start your row is exactly how you end it. So once you work 2 double crochets together, if you work 2 double crochets together to start the row, you must make sure to end the row you do the very same thing. So here we started with 3 double crochets together and we are ending with 3 double crochets together. The reason as to why I say we started with 3 double crochets together, if you remember, I skipped the first stitch and went for a 2 double crochet together into the next 2 stitches. Okay, now here I'm going to chain 2 turn my work, and what we are doing is exactly what we are going to do for the next couple of rows. So chain 2 turn your work, work 3 double crochets together into the first 3 stitches, just like that. All right, and then you will work 1 double crochet into every stitch until you have 3 stitches to end the row. Okay, so it's the very same thing that we did previously that we are going to do, and also repeat and repeat for the next couple of rows. So I'm just going to meet you at the end of this row and show you once again how to end your row. Then I'll let you work the next couple of rows on your own. Okay. And finally, here we are. I am almost at the end of my row and I have 3 stitches. So I am going to get in there and work 3 double crochets together into the last 3 stitches, just like that. Just like that. So here I am going to chain 2, and now I'm going to let you work the next rows on your own. So basically it is 3 double crochets together when starting and ending the row. So we have that sort of like decrease that gets us all the way up to the center of our waistline, high waist, sorry, because this is the lower waist. So I'm going to let you do that and I'm going to meet you once you are done. So here we are. I am done with the rows, and I have, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I have 6 rows that I have worked for this decrease of 3 double crochets when starting and ending the row. Okay, now from here I'm just going to be working no more rows. I'm just counting my stitches just to make sure at least I have enough stitches. Yeah, for me those are just enough. Okay, so now for the next bit of the project, we are chaining 2, turning our work, and into the very first stitch I am working a double crochet, and I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until the end of my row. Okay, yes, so just work 1 double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row, and I'm going to meet you there, then show you what to do next. And once again, see that we have come to the end of our row, and this is how your work should look like. So from here, for the next row, I'm just going to do the very same thing. I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, and then I am just going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of my row. So I'm not going to like crochet this row together with you guys, but yes, just do the very same thing, working 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until the end of the row, and then do the very same thing for the next row as well. All right, do the very same thing for the next row as well, so that we have about 3 rows of just normal double crochet. Okay, so do this until the end, and then also do the same thing for the next row, so we make 3 rows. So here we are. I have my 3 rows of just normal double crochet, and this is how your work should look like. Okay, so now from here we are going to be increasing towards, more like we are approaching, or we have approached the underbust. So we are going to be increasing towards, let me say this is more like past, a little bit past the high waist. So we are increasing towards the underbust so that we get to the bust with full coverage. Okay, with great coverage. So we chain to turn our work into the very first stitch. Now guys, here you be very attentive. Into the very first stitch I am going to work 3 double crochets. Okay, and now into this next stitch I am going to work 1 double crochet and do the very same thing for the next stitch as well. Okay, so for this row I'm just going to work a normal increase of 3 double crochets when starting and ending the row. Now the next row is where I need you to be attentive because it's a little bit tricky. The increase is going to be a little bit more than we have been doing because I want us to get to great coverage without working so many rows. Okay, so we need to make sure that this piece is wide enough, actually wider than our front bikini bottom part. So because now this is going to the bust and the bust should be wider so that we have that coverage. Okay, so here I am at the end of my row. Into this last stitch I'm going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Yes, so this is how your row should look like. And now we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now here I need more increments, so I'm going to work 3 double crochets into the very first stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to get into the second stitch and work 2 double crochets. Okay, and now I am going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch until I have 2 stitches left to end my row. So just work 1 double crochet until you have 2 stitches left to end your row. That's where I'm going to meet you guys, then show you how to end this row. And then now, as you can see, I have 2 stitches left to end my row. So into that second last stitch I'm going to work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. And then into the very last stitch I am going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch. So just like we did for the front bottom part of this monokini, following a sequence, this is exactly what we are going to do for this as well. We are going to be following a sequence of working 3 double crochets into the into the very first stitch and the last stitch, and then on the next row we have 3 double crochets, then 2 double crochets all in the very same stitch, and then also end with 2 double crochets all in the second last stitch, and into the last we have 3 double crochets. I hope I am clear. So let me just do this once again. Chain to turn your work. Into the very first stitch work 3 double crochets and then work 1 double crochet until you have 1 stitch left to end your row, just like we did previously when we were starting this increase. So right here, once you have 1 stitch left to end your row, you work 3 double crochets into that very same stitch. Okay, just like that. So this row is ended. So now for the next row we are going to be chaining 2 turn your work, and make sure your chains are not too tight because you will lose grip of your work. You know, this whole edge will not look as clean as this, to look like tight, so your tension shouldn't be that much. Now here into the very first stitch, we are going to be working 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch, and then into the second stitch we work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. All right, and then from here we are going to resume with 1 double crochet into every stitch until we have 2 stitches left to end your row. Okay, and once you have 2 stitches left to end your row, just like I do, if you see the increase, okay, it's really getting wide in a very short span of rows, okay, in a very span of time, let me say. Now into the second last stitch we work 2 double crochets and then work 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. Okay, so you are just going to do that kind of thing repeatedly, okay, following that kind of sequence that I have explained. Just do that repeatedly for a couple of rows. I'm just going to get back and tell you how many rows I have worked for the coverage I wanted for a size small, and then we can move forward from there. Okay, yes, so here I am, and I have worked, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I have a total of 8 rows for this increase that I wanted for my bust. Okay, and across I have 60 stitches. All right, just in case you wanted to keep up with exactly what I have. Yes, I have 60 stitches, 60, and now I'm going to chain 2. Now since this is more like the underbust, like right below my breasts, okay, I should say, I'm going to chain 2, and into the very first 2 stitches I'm going to work 2 double crochets together, and then I will work 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way until I have 2 stitches left to end my row. So just work your 1 double crochet until you have 2 stitches left to end your row. That's where I'll meet you and show you what to do. Now here we are with 2 stitches left to end my row, and now I am going to work 2 double crochets together into the last 2 stitches. All right, just like that. So I will chain 2, then turn my work, and here I will work 2 double crochets together into the first 2 stitches. All right, then I'm going to work 1 double crochet all the way until I have 2 stitches left to end my row, and into these last 2 stitches I'm going to work 2 double crochets just like I started the row. So you work 2 double crochets together and you do the same thing for the next row. Okay, just copy what we have done for this row and do the very same thing for the next row. So there, that means we have a total of 3 rows of that decrease, of that kind of decrease of having 2 double crochets together when starting and ending the row. So that leaves us with 54 stitches. Okay, so once we have 54 stitches, we are going to count, anyway, to confirm, just count your stitches and then mark the center. Okay, because now here we are going to have that cleavage split. Okay, that more like that cleavage split. So if we have 54, divide by 2, you get 27. Okay, so if you get 27, that means on this side we are going to have 27. So you will mark the 27th stitch on this side. Also, if you count starting from the other side, you'll mark the 27th stitch as well. Okay, so basically we are marking that both the 27th stitch and the 28th stitch, because the 28th stitch is going to be more like the 27th stitch, starting from the center counting to the right, and then the 27th will be the 27th starting from the center, which we have marked, counting to the left. So basically every breast is going to have 27 stitches left and right. I hope I'm clear. So just mark your first I'm going to mark my 27th, because I will definitely know where to start from when working my right breast. Okay, so this is my 27th stitch right there. Okay, so the next stitch will be the 27th, counting to this side for my right breast. Okay, so now we are going to start working a decrease so that we go all the way up our breast. Okay, and to do that, we are also going to need to know the center stitch of our 27 stitches. So basically, you're also going to divide 27 by 2, and what you get is the center stitch, which is going to be like the 13th stitch. All right, so I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work, and then into the very first 2 stitches I am going to work 2 double crochets together. All right, so work your 2 double crochets together. Yes, into the first 2 stitches, just like that. And then now that means if I've worked 2 double crochets together, those are 2 stitches, so I am left with 10 stitches. Okay, before I work another decrease. That decrease is going to be at the center of our left breast cup. That means at the 13th stitch of the 27 we have counted. All right, so I'm going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch for the next 10 stitches. All right, if you're working for a size medium, definitely you should have more stitches than I do have, because you need more coverage. Now once you get to where you feel now this is my center, for me it is the 13th stitch, so I'm going to work a decrease. Sorry, I am so sorry, but keep what I have explained, because for this first row I did not work the decrease at the center of our breast cup. Okay, I'm going to work that decrease on the next row. So basically here I'm just working 1 double crochet into every stitch. I'm sorry, I am very sorry, but yes, whatever I have explained is exactly what we are going to apply on the next row, so don't trash it. So work 1 double crochet into every stitch until you have 2 stitches left to end your row. So that means until you are 2 stitches to the marked stitch, including the marked stitch. So here are my 2 stitches, the marked stitch and the next stitch after that. And in there I am going to work 2 double crochets together to end my row. So if I had 27 stitches, okay, and I've worked a decrease when starting and ending the row, that leaves me with 25 stitches. So you should have 25 stitches on this row. All right, now just like I had said initially, we are going to count 25 and then divide 25 by 2, and 25 by 2 leaves you with 25 by 2 leaves you with, is it let me see, yes, 13. Now I'm going to mark that the 13th stitch. I think I just had it in my mind because honestly 27 by 2 doesn't give me 13. So I'm going to mark that 13th stitch because this is the center of my breast cup. All right, now I am going to work my decreases, making sure that I have a decrease when starting the row, I have a decrease at the center of the row, and then I have a decrease at the end of the row. So into the chain 2 and turn your work into the very first 2 stitches. You are going to work 2 double crochets together, just like that. Okay, and now we are going to work 1 double crochet into every stitch until we get to the marked stitch. Okay, so just work 1 double crochet into every stitch, and yes, right there. I have some noise in the background, but it will go off definitely, so just bear with me. Now here is the marked stitch. I'll just take out this acting stitch marker. I'll just take it out and take it out and take it out. My nails don't let me do this very well, so Yes, now it is now out. So into that next stitch and the next after that, we are going to work 2 double crochets together. So that means we have worked a decrease at the center of our row. And then now we resume with 1 double crochet into every stitch until I have 2 stitches left to end my row. All right, so just do this until you have 2 stitches left to end your row. And yes, once you have 2 stitches left to end your row, in there we are going to work 2 double crochets together, just like that. That's how we end our row. So I'm not going to work the next rows with you guys, but just keep this in mind. You are going to be working a decrease when starting the row. That's 2 double crochets together right there, then 2 double crochets together at the center of the row, and 2 double crochets together at the end of the row. So you have a decrease at the start, center, and end of your row. And when you keep doing that, you will end up having 1 stitch at the end of your row, that's at the top. So you will have made your breast cap here. You'll transfer the same knowledge we have gotten to get our left breast cap and do it for the right breast cap. So I'm not working this with you guys, but just make sure you do that. And then now I'm going to get back and show you how to work the bottom back part. Okay, so let me get back and show you what to do. Now see, I have worked my decreases until I had 1 stitch left, just like that, then cut my yarn. You see that? So that's how you should do it, and that's how it should look like. Transfer the knowledge to work your right breast cap as well. And just do exactly what we have done on the other side and do it for this side as well. Now to work the back part, you will insert your hook into the very first stitch on the opposite side of your foundation chains, and then to attach yarn, we are just going to get our yarn and then pull through yarn through that hole, just like that. Then I will chain 1. Okay, now this chain 1 is not going to act as a stitch, but rather to help us get started without stitches. Now in that very same stitch, you are going to work 1 single crochet, and then work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way along this row until the end of the row. And I'm going to let you do that, then get back and show you what to do after that. Now we are going to chain 2 and turn our work. So if you see that I worked a few rows for my crotch, that is exactly what I'm going to do even now. So into the very first stitch, I'm going to work 1 double crochet, and I'm going to continue working 1 double crochet into every stitch until I get to the end of my row. So even this side, I'm going to first start with a few rows, normal rows without any increase for just the crotch area. Okay. So as you can see, I have come to the end of my row, and now if you look closely, I worked about 4 rows on this side. So I just want you guys to work more 2 rows to make it a total of 3 rows, okay, for the crotch of the back. Okay, so just work 2 more rows, just working normal double crochets, then I'll get back and show you what to do. So this is how my work looks like after 3 rows on the opposite side of our foundation chains. And now I'm going to start working the increment that we worked right here, this time for the back area. So I'm just going to be working the very same thing, and I'm not going to work the whole of the entire back area with you guys. I'm just going to show you what you should do and then the number of rows that you should work. So chain 2, turn your work, and into the very first stitch you are going to work 3 double crochets, then work 1 double crochet into every stitch until you have 1 stitch left to end your row. Okay, so just work your 1 double crochet until you have one stitch left to end your row. Then I'm going to meet you there, then end the row with you guys and work the next row. Then you will have to work the other rows on your own. And now this is the very last stitch, and in the last stitch we are going to work 3 double crochets all in that very same stitch, just like we started our row. Okay, now to start your next row, you are going to chain 2 and turn your work into the very first stitch, just like we did on the other side. Into this very first stitch you're going to work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch, and then work 1 double crochet into every stitch, okay, until you have 1 stitch left to end your row. Okay, so I'm going to let you work your 1 double crochet until you have 1 stitch left to end your row. Then I will show you how to end your row as well for this row, and then we see what to do going forward. Now into the very last stitch we are going to work 2 double crochets all in that very same stitch. Okay, so moving forward you are just going to be working that kind of series. The next row should have 3 double crochets into the very first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into every stitch until the end of the row. So into the very last stitch you work 3 double crochets, then on the next row 2 double crochets when starting and ending the row, just like we did for the front increase. That's what you should do for the back increase. The only difference is you should have more rows on your back more than you have for the front. Okay, so for me this is where I am, and I feel like this is the coverage I need. So counting the increases I have, those are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have a total of 14 rows for my back. Okay, 14 rows of the increase for the back, and then if I add the 3 rows of normal double crochet for the crotch area, it makes it a total of 17 rows for my back part. If you want to go any more further for more coverage, you can go a few, like 2 rows. Okay, now from here I'm just going to work normal double crochet rows, and I'm going to work 4 of those. So just chain 2, work 1 double crochet into every stitch for 4 rows. Okay, I need 4 rows of just normal double crochet. I'm going to get back once I have mine complete, making it a total of 18 rows. So this is how mine looks like, and now I just want to work along my edges. As you can see, I worked 4 more rows of just normal double crochet without any increment. That's why you have that straight line there. Okay, so now we are going to be working along our edge all the way. I am keeping in mind that you already worked your left breast, so don't be like me. I'm going to work mine. I just want to get done with this tutorial super fast because I feel like it's getting lengthy. Now you are going to work a row of just single crochet on top of your double crochets, just so that we secure our last row. Okay, I already have my 1 single crochet row complete. Now I'm going to be working along the edges. Okay, now even for the edges there is no science. If you have worked any edges with me, you know that I always work 2 single crochets into every double crochet post, and that is what we are going to do here as well. Now you are going to chain 1 and turn your work to the edge and work 2 single crochets into every double crochet post. So I usually work my 1 single crochet at the top of the post and then the 2nd single crochet into the post. Okay, so it is up to you. You can either just work 2 single crochets just like that in one spot, or you can work 1 at the top and then the other in the center of the post. Okay, but just make sure for every double crochet post we have 2 single crochets. All right, now make sure you're not tense, like your tension is not like super tight, because you will lose the shape of your edge. And now I just want to emphasize that once you get to the corners, what you have to do is into the corner, you have to work 3 single crochets in that corner. Working this tutorial, I had stressed out that you should work probably 2 single crochets, but I found that to get a very fine edge and a very good corner, you need to work 3 single crochets into the corners. So just work your single crochets, working 2 single crochets into every double crochet post until you get to the corners, and when at the corner you are going to work 3 single crochets into that very same spot, which is the corner, so that you have that corner. Okay, so right there you work 3 single crochet posts. Okay, don't follow the movement of my fingers saying 2. No, you should work 3 single crochet stitches, then go forward with 2 single crochets into every double crochet post. When you get to this corner, you work 3 single crochets into that very same spot right there. So just do that going all the way up. When you get up here at the corner at the tip of your breast cup, still you work 3 single crochet posts, then come down the cleavage just like that. Just keep working 2 single crochets into every double crochet post apart from the corners. Okay, so I'm just going to get back and show you how my work looks like. Of course, that's the video that I showed when I was now finally, this is how my work looks like. I have gone all the way around with all the edges, and I have finished finishing my edges. They look very fine. So what is left to do is adding your straps or strings or whatever you may call them. But yes, we are just going to be adding the straps and then the fringes. So I'm just going to take you sharp through all that. So to add our strap, we are just going to get to this corner right here, get our yarn, pass it through, insert our hook into that corner, pull through that yarn, and then yarn over, insert into the next stitch, be like you're working a single crochet, then pull through all loops and then start working chains. Okay, this will give you a thicker strap, more so if you're working with 2 strands like I am. If you want a thinner strap, then you are going to be using 1 strand, so that once you fold them it becomes 2 strands. Okay, so for me, I worked with 1 strand later. I was just kind of showing you, just in case you wanted a thicker strap, what you should do. Okay, so that's how you are going to add all your straps on all corners, on the side of the waists and then the back part as well, and then our underbust. Okay, so just add all your straps, then get to the hem of our cleavage. To add your fringes, you'll just cut a few strands of yarn. Make sure they are of the same length. Insert your hook into the single crochet right there, the single crochet that that is just along that edge, and then pull through our yarn, then yarn over, pull through all the strands through the loop that you have created, and that's how you are going to add your fringes. I am sorry, at the end of it I have run super fast, but then I'm sorry, but the whole thing was to learn how to work the body of the monokini. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.